Welcome to video 3 of the 4-part series in address parsing. In this video, I will show you how to properly configure the address parsing tool for the first parse and describe the subsequent steps in the address parsing workflow. For this video, I will be using the sample data provided with the address parsing tool. You can find it here in the sample data file geodatabase. The address parsing tool is designed to parse a site address within a file geodatabase feature class. The tool will create a copy of the input feature class containing the new address fields containing the address elements parsed by the tool, new address flag fields containing information to identify poorly constructed or unparsable addresses, an error log as an output text file containing information on addresses the tool was unable to parse. Please note that the new flag and address fields will be cleared and overwritten if subsequent parses are run over the previous tool's output feature class. In this example here, we will always be creating a new feature class to preserve the previous parse's data. So I've opened up our catalog here, and I'm going to navigate to the Address Parse 10.1 through 10.3 toolbox. Inside this toolbox, you can see the tool Address Parser 1.1. Double-click on the tool to open up the parameters. At the top is the location of the input layer that contains the site address field you want to parse. I'm going to open up the sample file geodatabase and grab the Parcel Samples feature class and drop that into the first parameter. The next parameter allows you a drop-down window where you can then select the site address field to be parsed. In our case, this field is named Site Address. The third parameter is where you identify the output file geodatabase where you'd like the new feature class to be created. We're going to create it in the sample data.gdb here. Go ahead and drag that into the third parameter. Next, we'll give this output feature class a new name. Parcel Samples Processed 1. The remaining fields are optional. Parse by default is always checked and will create new parsed fields of the site address in the new feature class. Address flag fields will add fields to locate addresses that are incorrectly parsed. The error log box will output a text file describing any addresses that were not able to be parsed by this tool. Further, we can also specify where this file is to be written. By default, it will be written to your current workspace. For our initial parse, let's check the address flag fields and the error log to establish the baseline of where our addresses stand. The directory where the error log will be created, I'm going to just drag the address parse dist directory down there so it's easy to identify. Once that's all set, go ahead and click OK to run the tool. Now that the tool has finished the first parse, let's take a look at the results. Go ahead and close the tool, identify the newly created feature class, and drag that into ArcMap. We'll go ahead and open the attribute table. All the way over on the right is the first flag that we will want to take a look at, the parse error flag. A value of 0 indicates a successful parse. A value of 1 indicates a parse error. We'll go ahead and sort this field to get all the errors at the top. This is the only address of the 35 in the sample data set that the parse error was unable to process. Why don't we also take a look at the error log that got created. If you go back to our catalog, refresh the directory, you will see here the error log text file. This is the exact same record as noted in the attribute table. This error file can just give you some extra tips on what caused the error to occur in the first place. Now we'll navigate back to the attribute table. The issue with this address is that the field actually contains two different addresses, which isn't acceptable in the Wisconsin Partial Initiative schema. To correct this, let's start an editing session, go in, and determine which of these addresses will be the primary site address for this parcel. Now that we've started an editing session, we can go in and edit this full address field here. I'm going to keep the first address, 311 Ridge Street, as the primary address for this parcel. Next time we run the parse, this should alleviate that parse error that occurred. This is also a good time to take a look at the extraneous data flag field. This field is kind of a catch-all field that can contain data that isn't an appropriate element of a site address. The examples in the sample data set we just ran illustrate some of the information that can end up in this field. Sometimes property descriptors or the latter part of an address range are some of the things that you can find here. In our case, for these two records, you can see that Red Barn, Milk Shed, and -118 appeared in this field. If we look back at the original full address field, you can see these property descriptors attached to the full address. To resolve this issue, we've already got an editing session open, so let's go ahead and remove them from the full address field. The third record here doesn't include a property descriptor, but it shows an address range, which is not an acceptable address in the Wisconsin Partial Initiative schema. So we're going to go ahead and remove the secondary portion of that range. So all we have now is 112 Blacksmith Road. Once these corrections have been made, go ahead, save your edits, and stop this editing session. Look for video 4, further parsing, to see how we proceed from here.